There is an air of hopelessness around Xbox that is quite different from any other hopelessness we've experienced with this brand before. And I'm even talking back to the Xbox One days. Like, this is, to me, far worse because Xbox was playing with far much more and had way more potential and has fumbled it every single step of the way. That hopelessness also carries into the expectation that Xbox and Microsoft aren't done with layoffs. We're all left sitting here wondering how teams like Compulsion Games will fare over the next year. They just dropped South of Midnight. That wasn't a mega hit. Are you really going to pay to keep them around when you just shut down studios that could have delivered more prolific games like Perfect Dark and The Initiative, or Rare with Everwild, or a new live service game from ZeniMax Online Studios? I don't think so. And that's not me trying to be cold or mean. I know we're talking about people's lives here, but this is the standard Xbox has set, and they have created an air of hopelessness around their brand that's permeated between both fans and developers now, which we'll talk about. One such example is a piece here from Windows Central Gaming titled, "Xbox says all their games shown in the 2025 showcase are still coming, but why should we believe them?" This is from Cole Martin, and I look at that and go, dude, the showcase just happened last month. Like, that's how bad things are. We're talking about something we saw a month ago going, is any of that real? Because Xbox leadership has talked out of both sides of their mouths for years, and we have so many receipts. We have developers like Rafael Colantonio, as well as members of Larian, talking about how Game Pass is not sustainable for this industry. The business model is clearly bottoming out. And there are developers such as Romero Games that were working directly with Xbox, getting funded by Xbox, that have new information to share with us thanks to the Journal here, where they write, speaking to the Journal, one anonymous Romero Games staff member described the situation as a, quote, big shock, end quote, and then said everyone is out of a job. The next one, though, is the real kicker. They say, quote, "We had meetings with the publisher, aka Xbox, the day before this happened. There was no mention of it," end quote. Now, fortunately, it seems like they are still trying to find ways to fund the project, they say here in this next quote, but for now, they are sadly completely closed and the studio is closed. So in a day and age where finding funding, take it from me as someone who is pitching their game right now, is tough. Yeah, like, I wish them the best of luck. It's really tough out there. These companies, I can just say, are crunching you hard and want absolute guarantees with as little investment as possible. And I'm an indie dev. Our budget's not crazy at all. So yeah, best of luck to Romero Games. But look at that. You met with them the day before, and you didn't have the guts to tell them what was going on. Shame on you. Seriously, like, shame on you all day. The defense I've seen being run for Xbox leadership right now is that, well, they're just taking marching orders from Satya Nadella and Amy Hood. They don't really have a say in it all. And first off, spare me that, because we're really trying to act like Phil Spencer, Sarah Bond, and Matt Booty aren't shot callers of any kind in their own division. I get there's a level of, like, they have to fall in line, they're shareholders, they have to oblige. I get all of that, but you're acting like these people are totally defenseless. They're just being told, hey, robot, do this, and Phil's going out and doing that. Because whether you like it or not, whether you understand it or not, Xbox is very much in line with Microsoft's vision, and that is AI, as I'll indicate in a little bit here. Today, we're talking about a report from Seattle Times, which gives us a why to what happened last week with all of the layoffs across Microsoft. It's an $80 billion investment in AI infrastructure. How about that for your video game villain dystopian ass shit? It's an AI infrastructure investment that caused all these layoffs. I can't wait to say my piece. But ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here and you're into what's going on with Xbox, I guess we're here until they end up being called Microsoft Gaming, because at that point, I'm out. But until then, consider subscribing. All right, so the post from Seattle Times is titled, "Microsoft to lay off about 9,000 employees in latest round." Skipping down through a lot of their article where they highlight just how much Microsoft has laid off, they write, AI costs balloon. As Microsoft cuts corporate ranks, the company is investing heavily in artificial intelligence. Microsoft's push into AI doesn't mean the company is replacing workers with the technology. Rather, the significant cost of building out the infrastructure over multiple years has Microsoft looking to trim costs where it can. During the company's 2025 fiscal year, which ended Monday, Microsoft said it planned to spend more than $80 billion on infrastructure to meet AI demands. That's a $25 billion increase in capital expenditures from the company's 2024 fiscal year. The roles affected during layoffs in May and June include some that could be changed by AI-driven efficiencies. Software engineers were hit the hardest, with more than 800 laid off in Washington out of the 1,985 initial employees laid off in May. Other heavily represented roles were product and program managers. Microsoft's prominent AI tools, which can write and debug code, are heralded by leadership. During the developer-focused conference Build, 1 week after May's layoffs, CEO Satya Nadella showed a room of hundreds how he could send AI agents out into the digital world to draft, develop, and fix code with a few directions. Other tech companies are closer to drawing the connection between automated work and the need for fewer employees. And Xbox, as a Microsoft brand, is 1,000% one of them. And I've been shooting my warning shots all year. It's happened fast though, so I wouldn't blame you if you thought this was years ago or you even forgot about it. We're talking about 2 AI initiatives happening within Xbox's gaming department right now. One is Copilot for gaming, one that I find very dangerous to the overall gaming experience if left unchecked. What's effectively happening here are 2 such examples. One is, let's say you're playing Overwatch and you don't know what hero to play. Instead of playing a hero shooter, like I'm going to experiment around the roster, see what role works for me, what character feels best for me. Instead, you can ask your AI overlords to sit here and tell you what exactly would work well in counter to your opponents, what you've done well with on what maps before, and it'll give you a nice assessment and you'll pick your hero based off that. Well, look, I know it's been a lot of negative news lately, and if you're struggling to continuously hear that negative news, I've got a couple of prompts for you that you could throw into ChatGPT or Copilot, and that's thanks to Matt Turnbull of Xbox Game Studios. I don't know why he deleted this LinkedIn post, but some of this I found so helpful. I could tell ChatGPT, act as a career coach. I've been laid off from a role in the video game industry. Help me build a 30-day plan to regroup, research new roles, and start applying without burning out. Yeah! Man, I fucking love that. Oh, hey, wait, resume help. Here's my current resume. Give me 3 tailored versions, one for AAA, one for platform and publishing roles, and one for startup/small studio leadership roles. Fuck yeah, dude, I'm feeling great already. Here's another one for you. I'm struggling with imposter syndrome after being laid off. Can you help me reframe this experience in a way that reminds me of what I am good at? Oh, I just feel so much better watching words float up on screen that are scraped off the internet to tell me what I am good at. Man, fuck being laid off. Who gives a shit anymore? This is great. And I was thinking, since Matt had suggestions for everyone after going through such life-changing events, just, hey, go put in these prompts. These will help out a lot. Since his head is so far up the ass of ChatGPT, I thought to myself, I would make a suggestion, dude, see a fucking therapist if your emotional capability is this low that, oh, wow, look, thousands of people are getting laid off. Lives are changing. Homes are being destabilized, all in the name of an $80 billion investment. Oh, I got just the idea. I'll give them prompts. Dude, if that is all you are capable of, you need to go talk to someone. I'm sorry. That is my advice to you. Go speak to someone. Go at least reflect with a loved one and figure out how to actually console people when they're struggling. Now, look, I know I sound doom and gloom with AI. I'll get into why I think it can be a positive in the tool department and why other developers even think as much. But when it comes to what Xbox is doing here, to me, that dampens the experience the player can have. Granted, they did say in their Copilot for Gaming presentation that this is a switch that can be turned off, and I think that's great and all, but the idea was also that Xbox said this would be like a hands-off sort of thing. They're not going to force it into all of their studios. And if you think after an $80 billion investment in AI infrastructure and trying to be the lead AI company on the planet, right? Like, this is the same rush to the internet that Google won out in, right? This is what Microsoft's trying to win out in. Can we win the AI race? Can we be the Google of the AI race? Can we do that? If we can, the amount of money, power, dominance that comes with that is insurmountable, right? So obviously they want to put all their chips on the table to win this next gold rush. That includes their gaming division absolutely investing heavily in building out and testing their AI tools. Now, also the other thing Copilot for Gaming does, a cool quality of life enhancement, is like, hey, you've been playing Age of Empires 4 for a while, you stopped playing it, you went to a couple other games, you come back to it, you can ask Copilot for Gaming, like, where did I leave off last? What was happening last? And it'll give you a summary of that. That stuff is great. That stuff is cool. I think that stuff is useful for the player, especially when there's so much content coming out. What I have more thoughts on, though, and the one that you should really be keeping your eyes on, and the one that Xbox did try to say, like, oh, we're going to propose the option to our first-party studios. I think that's going to be a mandate very soon, especially, again, you can't believe what you read or hear from anyone within Xbox, but here they talk about Muse, a generative AI model for gameplay. Look, there's no denying that every job imaginable is going to have AI involved in one way or another. That is inevitable, and I do think there's a level of like fighting against it is kind of just digging your heels in the sand. And it's not all awful evil villain type shit. Like I mentioned earlier, I think the whole save recap, where did I leave off last time, is great usage of AI that enhances your gaming experience, lets you kind of flow from experience to experience and catch up whenever you need to. Where I really get my backup about AI is when it goes from tool to replacement. The games industry, and this does not really need to be stated unless you're a Microsoft executive, flourishes off of creative energy. That needs to be valued more than anything. Xbox, as I've indicated many times with the amount of talent they've let go from, say, Bethesda and a Shinji Mikami, a Harvey Smith, Pete Hines, and the list goes on, John Johannes, like they lost so much incredible talent. Clearly, they don't know what the value of having good creative talent is, creative visionaries is. And I'm not saying necessarily that Xbox is taking Harvey Smith out of the picture so they can put Muse in his spot, but this is not a brand that is innocent within the whole Microsoft AI investment phase. This is a company that is in the same year, right? This is all happening in 2025. Copilot for gaming, in beta, here's Muse. Our developers are using it across our entire first party. Like they announced Muse alongside Ninja Theory, which was supposed to be one of their more like prolific prestige piece studios that's making these hardcore single player experiences. And like they're the advocates for generative AI content in video games. Again, I'm all for it as a tool, removing the grindy, crunchy parts of development. But as Microsoft tries to slim its workforce and replace it with AI in tech-focused jobs, I mean, that's a lot of what game development is, technology, right? And so when you start to see the potential of that being trimmed down and you lose creative individuals just to slim down the budget some more, gaming as a whole will no doubt suffer. I mean, what can you say at this point? You have fans who have lost hope, developers who are working with you have clearly lost hope. I mean, in my personal experience, I can only speak for myself. For those who don't know, I don't get inside information almost ever. And that's fine. I don't operate off of it. I like to just be a fan of gaming and not know what's coming. I think it gives the most authentic reaction you can get nowadays when it comes to like everyone being in the know. So I prefer to not be in the know. But my God, the amount of employees across Xbox, Activision, ZeniMax Online Studios, the initiative that reached out to me anonymously and was like, I'm here to vent. I'm here to pop off. I'm here to share stuff. That has never happened to me before, okay? But when you combine that with public-facing figures in gaming turning their back on Game Pass, talking openly and critically about Xbox leadership and Microsoft shareholders and Microsoft leadership, like everyone has turned their back on the Xbox brand. There is no, wait, let's turn the page on this all. I can understand last year after the multi-platform pivot, and then unfortunately right after that, it's like, boom, now we have a bunch of studio closures. People just want to move on from all that mess. Let's turn the page. Let's see what this new, slimmed down, more efficient Xbox has up its sleeve. And you see they make a lot of money. Console sales are still going down, though. Recommit to console production, though. Okay, looks like this is going to be the new Xbox. And then they step on a rake, as they always do. But when the rake is an $80 billion investment in AI infrastructure, I understand the sympathy that Xbox leadership might be a victim of the process, but please stop acting like they are not shot callers in any of this. They are not complete victims in any of this, especially when their own initiative has greenlit 2 massive AI gaming tools for development, one of which is no doubt going to be mandated for their own developers. Again, people need to stop treating Xbox, after the whole ABK acquisition, like they're not the little toy on the side that, oh, they can kind of get away with like tucking Muse away and be like, yeah, Satya, we'll use it. Right. Now it's going to be like, hey, we're trying to advance with AI and test these systems. We want to be the leader in AI. Like, how are things going? Are your teams using it? Like, we want to use them for research, basically. It's insane. It's again, it's so dystopian. Fortunately, there are developers that I think get it, like Sven Vink. He talked to GameSpot about Larian Studios' future, but in it, he also talked about AI content, and he defined it as a creative aid, not just a time saver. The quote he used was, "I think that it's an age-old truth. If you give a developer 2 years, they'll take 3. So the same thing will be the case here with what you're going to give them in terms of ability to do stuff. If they have the ability to do things faster, they'll just do more, which is actually what you want. Also, that's why I think it will improve the state of the art in the terms of games that we're going to see. You're going to see more and more things, but they will be used in creative ways that we haven't even imagined yet," end quote. This is the problem, is that a lot of people think AI is designed to streamline, but in a creative field, it's just going to enable people to think about things differently and just reach new heights. It's going to be useful for indie developers to kind of creep up to, is that AA? Is that AAA? Or small teams producing things that are unbelievable for their scale. I think the future of game development, in my experience, is remote studios or teams that are not in the West. And those teams are going to be using things like AI to kind of help get themselves closer to that mark of quality where people can't tell the difference of if it's a small team or not. And to me, I think as an independent, that's probably the dream. You want to be able to compete and get that AAA feel behind your game, even though the cost, the uplift of your studio is like 15 people. Again, I think Swen puts it perfectly. It's an aid, not a time saver though. And I think if I were to wager a guess based on where Xbox is right now and the slimming of their workforce and how Microsoft is so pro AI, they want to become the Google of the internet for AI. They want to have that dominance. And they think, I think what comes alongside that is saving a lot of time, especially in game development. We hear how AI is sourced as a potential time-saving method, but developers are crazy. They're artists. You think you're going to give them, as I've said many times before, more tools and they're going to do less with it? What self-respecting artist does that? No one, right? Or at least the ones who are good, the ones who care about what they're working on, they put in their absolute best to be a part of that success. You earn your keep. So yeah, I don't need to rant and rave. I can get off my soapbox now, but it just pissed me off something fierce when I learned how, oh, it's an $80 billion AI investment that caused all of this. Okay, and oh, Xbox leadership are victims in all this. Give me a break. Give me a break. Come on. Again, I get the whole wanting to turn the page energy. As someone who is very positive themselves, glass half full, yes, I totally hear you, but this has got to be like foot on the throat energy, because right now there has to be accountability. If it's not going to be internally with, certain executives actually being held accountable, it has to come from the fans. It has to come from us and being like, we can't trust anything you say. We can't take you seriously. And I don't think that's a good way to have a brand operating if everyone just kind of shrugs off anything their leaders say. Like, yeah, maybe that happens, but I don't believe you. It's not even being antagonistic. It's not even trying to be cold. It's like, this is the reality. You guys change your minds every couple of months. So why should I believe anything you have to say? And until there's change, I don't think I'll feel any differently. We'll see you in due time, ladies and gentlemen. Let me know your thoughts down below on this investment by Microsoft, and I'll catch you in the next one. Stay sexy, stay active. I love you all. Peace.